Well, well, well. Hello, hello, hello. How are we? Look at me in a brand new location, not in my conservatory, getting slightly scared that someone might be outside the window. Ha, 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 ha. Um, Hello, you okay? I'm waiting for people to join. Hello, Sue Wood. Hello, Kaz. James Flanagan, what was intense? What was intense, James Flanagan? Tell me everything. Was it the countdown? I love the countdown. I'm not getting rid of it. Although I want to change it. I don't really like the colours. Paul Rudd's in the building. The Paul Rudd. I like to think it is the Paul Rudd. Hi, Fairy Dust Sunshine. James Flanagan, I've said hello to. Sue Wood. Penny Legate. Hello to Shawnee B. Who else we got here? Maureen's not here apparently. Do you like the fight? Yeah, the countdown, James, is a lot, isn't it? Is it too much? Do we like the countdown or do we not? I quite like it. I know it's wanky, but I quite like the countdown. So yeah, love the fireplace. Yeah, do you like my fireplace? It's cool, isn't it? It's not actually on because it's too warm, but the reason is I'm actually in Penny loves the countdown, Fairy likes the countdown, Sue likes the countdown, Paul likes the countdown, James, it's just me and you that think the countdown might be a little bit wanky, but it's gonna stay. Do you know what the countdown does? Because there's a lag for me. I go live and then it counts down, but because of the lag, it takes a while to, push it through. That's why. So I can sit there and what happens is it means I'm not sat for a minute or so kind of on my own as it's told people I'm live. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it is. It is kind of wanky. Love the countdown, says Louise K. It's better than New Year's. I tell you what, Louise K, that might be the only bloody countdown we have for New. If this was a countdown for New Year's, because I don't know about anyone else, I'm waiting for the new year. I am so over 2020. Did anyone else at the start of the new year? Because I did this. I went, this year is going to be a good year. I can feel it. I can feel that this year is going to be a good year. I am never saying that again. I feel like I've jinxed it for the entire nation. Oh, I've just realised I'm on Wi-Fi. Is my connection good? Let me just connect this. Can you hear me okay? I should have actually plugged in my actual USB here. This will mean that that I'll have a stable connection. I'm not stable myself, but hopefully now I will have a proper, good, stable connection just in case. So do let me know if it goes a little bit weird. Good connection. Yeah, B-Star says 2020 can pee off. Mandy Dennis, evening. I said it. Yeah, Nicole, I totally jinxed it. I have a fireplace DVD that I play on my TV, faux fire, low maintenance. Shawnee B, I used to do that. Sets a nice little ambiance, doesn't it? Sets a nice little ambiance. I always say ambiance with a French accent. Don't know why, makes me feel good. And yes, guys, I am on my third gin. Cheers. Anyone drinking tonight? The reason I'm in my living room, actually, well, it's my parents' living room, is because my mum and dad have gone away for a couple of days. So it's just me, myself and I, alone in the house. And I tell you what, if I were sat in that conservatory right now, knowing that I was alone in that house, I think I would be even more freaked out. So I decided that rather than hog the living room when they're here, I obviously go into the conservatory. But because it's me, myself, and I in the house today, I have come into the living room. I've plugged my laptop in, and I'm by the little fireplace. I thought this was a nice. Little ambiance, as I say. Nicole, why are you on the lem sips? What's wrong? Sue's on the tea. Paul Rudd is drinking coffee. Paul Rudd, where are you? Are you in the UK? Because if you're drinking coffee at this time of night, I could not get to sleep. Coffee would really affect me. There was no way I would be sleeping if I drank coffee at 9 p.m. Thanks. Everyone's loving the fireplace. Nicole, you have a cold. I'm sorry to hear that. How many people, Nicole, have you told that you have a cold to? And they've gone, oh my God, it's not COVID, is it? You've not got COVID, have you? Because I actually instinctively went to say then, and then I realized it could be quite annoying for anyone who might say that. So get well soon. Paul Rudd, you're in Manchester and you're drinking coffee at 9 p.m. I'm no Gillian McKeith, but I'm going to say that is not very good for you. Loads of people have said that, Nicole says. Apparently, Shawnee B, I'm going to put this on the screen, says the colours in the living room are very favourable to you. You look great. Why, thanks. I didn't even plan that. I was wearing this earlier because it's kind of in that in-between temperature at the minute, isn't it? Where it's not too hot, but it's not too cold. So you don't really know what to wear. So I've gone for this. But thank you, Shawnee B. I really appreciate that. B-Star, you had me laughing like that last night, bless you. Well, thanks, B-Star. I'm glad someone laughed. Wine for Sarah. What wine are you drinking, Sarah? Are you drinking white wine? Are you drinking red wine? Mandy says she can't drink coffee after 2. I'm pretty much the same. 3 or a maximum of 4 if it's been a long day. How are we all? Kirsty's just cold. She's under a blanket watching a movie and watching you. Welcome, Kirsty. Happy to have your company. So I'm going to do this live, and then after this live, actually it's scheduled for 10 o'clock. So depending on what time this live finishes, if it finishes early a little bit. But what I've thought I'd jump on beforehand, because I have one of my favorite podcasts coming out later. It is already out. I feel like I need to explain this properly, but I had a podcast out last year. The new series is coming out. So I'm just putting more onto YouTube. So their podcast episode, so it's just audio, no visual. And tonight is Nation's Sweetheart, Lorraine Kelly. So that's going to premiere on YouTube at 10 p.m. and we can have a bit of a chat beforehand about that. It was honestly one of my favorite to do because it's Lorraine, and it's weird because I'll tell you the story of how I know her and everything later on. But yeah, so that's coming out at 10. So if later on you are in bed, you're heading to sleep, put that video on. There's no visuals. You can just put it on in the background and you can listen to the dulcet tones of Peart and Lorraine Kelly, and you can drift off to sleep. It's about half an hour, 40 minutes long, and it's just a fun little podcast. And Lorraine, it's like a romp through Lorraine's life. Oh, Paul loves Lorraine. Kirsty loves Lorraine. Nicole loves Lorraine. Penny's already in bed. Penny, I never thought I'd be sharing a bed with you, but thanks for my company. Yeah, Mandy, I love a podcast going to sleep as well, actually. I have to say, it's one of those things where I don't know what's kind of happened. I used to just be able to drift off, and now I like kind of background noise or even a YouTube video or anything like that I can just put on and I can just fall asleep to. So hopefully, fingers crossed, you might want to put that on and have a listen to Lorraine Kelly. But until then, I want to know how you guys are. Did anyone see earlier on Kay Burley and Matt Hancock talking about sex? I was on the phone to Nadia earlier and she said, oh my God, did you see the Matt Hancock and Kay Burley interview? And I said, which one? Because there's been loads. And they have this weird dynamic where Matt, I feel like, is just winding Kay up all the time, just like, and Kay's just totally going for it. If you didn't see it, Mandy says yes, Kaz says yeah, flirting, Nicole flirting. For anyone who hasn't seen it, I'm going to play it in now. And I want you to let me know. Penny says, I'm too young to listen to this. How old are you, Penny? I actually have no idea how old you are. But it's not sexual. It's actually Matt Hancock, who is obviously the health secretary, is talking about casual sex with partners and making sure that you only have sex with an established partner. And honestly, I watched it about an hour ago, and I was cringing. See if you can see the sexual chemistry that is currently going on between Matt Hancock and Kay Burley.
In some parts of the country, in the northeast, the northwest, in Scotland, in parts of Wales, then you have to then define what is the boundary of that, and that does lead to some.
That's my question. I mean, you know, established relationship. Does that mean if I say I love you? I mean, because some people say that and they don't mean it. But are you in an established relationship then? I don't know.
I think we should stick to the letter of it, which is that it's okay in an established relationship.
And what does that mean to you? I mean, I know what it means to you and Mrs. Hancock.
That was exactly how I was going to answer. I know that I'm in an established relationship.
Okay. What about other people watching this morning? How would you define an established relationship?
I think people, it just means that people need to be careful, right? People need to be sensible. And if you're in a relationship that is well established, you know, that's what it means.
Is that like 6 months?
What it means is people realizing that by coming into close contact with people in other households, then that is how the virus spreads. And I just come back to the first principles, right? Which is we all want to keep this virus under control. We all need to play our part. And playing our part involves following the social distancing rules and from today, downloading the app. That is part of doing your bit. And it means abiding by these rules in their letter and their spirit. And if we all do that, then we'll get through this as best we possibly can.
And you've body swerved the established relationship, haven't you? Because you don't really know what that means. Anybody can bend the rules on that, can't they?
I wouldn't suggest that. I wouldn't suggest bending the rules. I would suggest sticking to them letter and spirit.
Okay, it's good to see you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Doing a great job. Thanks a lot. Just a reminder, if you want to catch up on any of that interview.
Honestly, what was that? Did anyone else just feel sick? Matt Hancock, he's very discombobulated and he's doing this kind of established partners, like his forehead is huge. I mean, which is, I shouldn't have a go, but it is, it's just too big. And it's made me feel on edge. I think that's why I'm on my third gin. I watched it earlier and I was like, I can't deal with that. It was so uncomfortable. Kirsty Jane, uncomfortable. You are so right. It was absolutely, Sue, that's made me feel sick when I watched it. Isn't it like, don't you think there's some sort of weird sexual chemistry going on between Kay Burley and Matt Hancock? It is quite concerning. Claire Smiley says, you despise the guy. Yeah, I mean, oh God. Shall we play it again? Shall we play that bit again where he smiles? I can't cope. Where is the bit? Where is the bit?
I know that I'm in an relationship, I think, which is that it's okay in an established relationship.
And what does that mean to you? I mean, I know what it means to you and Mrs. Hancock.
That was exactly how I was going to answer. I know that I'm in an established relationship.
Okay. What about other people watching this morning? How would you define an established relationship?
I think people, it just means that people need to be careful, right? People need to be sensible. And if you're in a relationship that is well established, you know, that's what it means.
6 months?
What it means is people realizing that by
it's that sorry, I've played it again. Everyone's like, no, I can't watch it. I can't watch that again. It's just, should we all just have a moment where we wonder what happened there. Matt Hancock and Kay Burley. Let's just have a minute to like compose ourselves, breathe, take a minute to think about what happened there. It was a lot. I'm not going to put Shawnee B, are they having an affair? Imagine that. Do you know what? Nothing in 2020 would shock me anymore. If it turned out that Matt Hancock and Kay Burley were having an affair, then I'd just go, oh, okay, cool. You know, I don't think there's much in 2020 now that would shock me. Tina Davis just says, yuck. Lee, turn it off and go to the pub. David Johnson, by the time I got to the pub, I'd have about half an hour before it shuts. It's the first day, isn't it? So I went to a restaurant today, and I was practically pounced on the minute I walked in the door without a mask. I was actually getting my mask out of my pocket to put it on, but you have to have a mask on at all times until you get to the table. Once you're at the table, it's fine. You sat down. The minute you go up, you have to have the mask on. So yeah, it's one of those things where you just, I don't know about you, but I'm bored of even complaining about it. I don't even complain about it, but I'm just a bit like, oh, is there anything else? Like, it just, none of it makes sense. I've got my gin B-Star, like you said. I'm quite happy. This pub doesn't close at 10, let me tell you. This pub will stay open. So how are we all? How's everyone doing? Yeah, I was about to say, Tina Davis, has anyone downloaded the NHS app? If they have, how is it? I actually haven't downloaded it yet. I need to. But I've seen some people that have, and apparently, like, this is the first day that it's properly out. So fingers crossed, this might push us out of the quagmire that we've got ourselves in. Kirsty says it's just life now and it's never going to go. Do you really think that, Kirsty? I'm not too sure. You know, I kind of hope that it will change. I can't see us wearing masks in restaurants all the time. I can't particularly see that. So I don't know. What does anyone else think? Do you think that it's just life now and that it's always going to be that way? For me, I personally don't think it's gonna. I think everyone's waiting to get back to normal, or I think there's obviously some things that will stay the same, or will keep. I think we'll generally be a little bit cleanlier, and I think that we'll take kind of infectious diseases more seriously. But do you think that we'll be walking around restaurants in masks and we'll be walking around the street in masks? I'm not too sure. I think we'll probably normalize wearing a mask if we're ill, like the Chinese have actually done for quite a while now. But yeah, I think hopefully things are getting back to normal. Nicole Marcella says we will eventually build up an immunity. Masks won't be forever, and a vaccine will help the vulnerable. Yeah, I also saw Matt Hancock. Isn't it weird? I tell you what, I tweeted, because I don't know if anyone's on Twitter here, but I follow a guy called Professor Carol Sikora, and I put the other day how I'm fangirling now over scientists. In 2020, we're like proper scientists are the celebrities, aren't they? The Patrick Valances, the Chris Whitties, the Professor Carol Sikoras, and Carol Sikora, I tweeted him being like, I saw Carol Sikora on this morning, and he was on with another one called Sunetra Gupta, who I also love, and I tweeted saying, oh my god, like, two of my favorites, Sunetra Gupta and Carol Sikora, are on this morning. Who knew in 2020 I'd be fangirling over a scientist? And what bloody happened? But Carol Sikora, the Carol Sikora, followed me, and I was like, I was literally like loving life. I was like, oh my God, Carol Sakura. Carol Sakura's followed me, guys. I was glamping at the time and I was going, oh my God, I love Carol Sakura. Guys, Carol Sakura's followed me. And people were like, who is Carol Sakura? I was like, the scientist. That's who we're fangirling over these days. Kaza Sakaza. Penny, I have seen the new spitting image puppets. I mean, Boris Johnson, they've just been played a blinder with him, haven't they? Because don't you think that Boris Johnson in real life looks like a spitting image puppet? So there's not really much to do. You know, when they were like, oh, they're going to make a spitting image puppet of Boris Johnson, I was like, or as I call it, a puppet. Because Boris Johnson looks just like a spitting image puppet. Do you not agree? Who else have they got on there, actually? Oh, they've got Dominic Cummings as well. Dom Cum. Little tips for downloading it. The government already have most of our data information just by owning a phone. Ooh, B-star. Dun, dun, dun. Ross Carson. Oh, wow. Ross Carson. Masks help with flu and hay fever. You know, I've never thought of it like that, but I wonder whether people's hay fever is better now that people are wearing masks. I guess it is. I never thought of it like that. Trump's puppet just looks like Trump, Penny, in my opinion. It's absolutely just him. Kirsty Jane looks like his hair has been cut around a bowl. Boris, yeah, totally. So as I said, I'm jumping on here to talk about my podcast, which I've been doing all week. Sorry if it's boring for some. I'm glad. I can't remember who posted this earlier about Stephen Bailey's interview, but that was on yesterday. Do check them out, and you don't have to check them out on YouTube. They're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. They're on generally any podcast provider because I host them. It's a weird one because my podcast I paid for all myself. I kind of self-funded it, self-produced it, edited it. It was all done by me. And there's a domain that you have to pay monthly to host this podcast. So I did it all myself. So it doesn't matter where you listen to them, whether you listen to them on YouTube or whether you listen on the Spotify or Apple Podcasts app. But please do, please do listen if you haven't already. Because as I said, I put all my money into it. So I didn't get any money for it. I didn't get any ad revenue or anything like that. It was just all me. I pay for it each month. There's like a domain fee that I pay, a bit like a website hosting fee. And this next one that I'm premiering tonight on YouTube, but it has been out for a year or so because it was recorded last year, is the darling that is Lorraine Kelly. Now, I actually met Lorraine. So I grew up, like Lorraine obviously has been in the business for years. And I always just kind of knew who Lorraine was. GMTV was always in my house. It was always on, in the background. Then in, university, when I went away, I used to have Lorraine on and things like This Morning. So I had to, bye Sue Wood, thanks for joining. Bye Claire as well, see you later. And I used to have them in, Lorraine in This Morning in the background. And I always have these kind of moments where, especially when I work a lot with Ruth Langsford, because I used to always watch Ruth on a Friday with Eamon at This Morning, because I didn't have lectures in the morning on a Friday. So I always had Friday mornings off uni. And I just used to watch them. And now when I work with them and I'm like chatting to them in the corridor or wherever, or having a drink, I sometimes have these moments where I'm like, oh my God, I used to watch you at uni. And that was definitely what it was like with Lorraine. And so I first met Lorraine. They decided a few years back to do audience shows on a Friday for Lorraine. So she obviously had the Monday to Thursday show. and they decided to have a live audience for Lorraine Kelly. And it was just very early in the morning. It didn't really work because it just wasn't necessary to have an audience. But they tested it, and I was their warm-up man for a few weeks. And Lorraine was so nice, so lovely, so friendly, welcoming, warm, just lovely. And what then happened is we often would pass each other in the corridors because they share a studio. And for months and years and whatever after that, we'd always say hello, and it would be lovely. And I'd, be like, "Hi, Lorraine." And she was just so lovely, and she'd give you a hug and she'd chat and we'd have a bit of a catch up or whatever. And then one time I was doing this podcast, and I thought, I really want to ask Lorraine. And I didn't have any budget for this podcast, so no one got paid. I paid money into myself. I didn't have any budget, so I just genuinely asked people. And I always was like, I will not be offended if you say no. And I was lucky because people like Nadia did the first one, Gloria said yes. And what then happens is when people hear that other people have done it, they go, "Oh yeah, I'll do that." But if you kind of say it randomly, like, "Oh, I'm doing this podcast," they're a bit like, "Oh, tell me more about it." And the minute you can go, "Oh, well, I've had so-and-so and so-and-so and such and such," they go, "Oh yeah, they're credible people. Yeah, sure, I'll do it." And Maria H, it's fake, this fire, but it does warm up. But yeah, it's fake. It's just on lighting mode. But so Lorraine, I'd seen, and I randomly saw her in the corridor, and I said to her, I was chatting away, and I said, "Listen, Lorraine," I said, "I have a favor to ask you, and you can say no." She was like, "Ask me." And I said, "Well, I've just launched a podcast." And she said, "You want me to be a guest? Do you want me to be a guest?" And so she kind of said it before I even needed to ask. And I was like, "If you would." She was like, "Absolutely." And some people you'll ask and they're like, "Yeah, I'll be a guest." And then you never hear from them again. No, she gave me a number. She sorted it out. We booked a day. She was so accommodating and so supportive with it, knowing that it would take up her time after the show. She didn't need to do it. It probably wasn't going to give her anything. I'm not a massive name, which is going to throw out things for her. But she did this. And honestly, I was so grateful because Lorraine Kelly is one of those household names that the minute you say it, everyone I ever said, it was like, if I ever asked anyone to be on my podcast, I just used to go, "Oh, so, well, Lorraine's done it, and Nadia's done it, and so-and-so's done it, and blah, blah, blah." And literally you saw people go, "Yeah, I'll do it." And so for me, I was just so grateful that she was so accommodating and lovely. And we had such a nice chat. She's just great. I'm a bit fangirly. Like, I sound like I'm really licking a bum a bit, but I absolutely love her. And yeah, so she stopped me in the corridor, and she just totally kind of helped me out with that podcast. And I was really, really grateful that she did. And I hope you enjoy it. It's, as I said, it was recorded last year. She actually gave me a bit of a scoop during the podcast. And Lorraine was remarkable after the Dunblane massacre. She helped the parents so much. She spoke at the funeral. Yeah, I know, that was a call. When I was doing a bit of research for her, I looked into that, and I know she was a big presence during the coverage of that. And but yeah, so we had this chat, and she gave me this scoop because she actually told me a spoiler about her being a judge on RuPaul's UK, and she wasn't technically allowed to say that. So I got the exclusive, but I never kind of put it out or anything like that. But yeah, she told me that. So it's filmed last year in 2019, and we chat about RuPaul. We chat about her working in the industry, her kind of having to go in, do this and do that, and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, it's just a really nice chat, and she's really lovely, and I'm a bit of a fangirl. So yeah, it's a podcast. As I said, someone commented on my my Nadia one saying, this is great, but you should have visuals. It's very old fashioned. I'm like, no, it's a podcast. So it's all audio. I do have some visuals as well, but it's just all audio. So don't worry too much. So like I said, if you want to listen to it in the background, you are more than welcome to. Just put it on and yeah, listen to that. Maria H, my sister adores RuPaul. Raspberry Mojito Girl is here. She was a great Laura. She was a great reporter before she was a presenter, and a lot of people don't realize she did obviously train as a journalist. Kirsty Jane wished to have a friend like Lorraine. Penny loves Lorraine Kelly. Polly, missing the windows behind you tonight. Yeah, sorry about that, Polly. I said that I'm in my house on my own at the minute, so I've decided not to have windows behind me. No, it's good because you can shut your eyes while you listen. I know, Henrietta, and then you can just fall asleep, and it's nice. You fall asleep to the dulcet sounds of Lorraine Kelly. So that will be playing at 10 p.m. And it's premiering then. I might actually bring it slightly forward, because what I think would be quite good is if you could jump off this live, because on the premieres, when it comes out, you can have a live chat, and that's really good, because then obviously you can discuss it, and that's why I did it as like a premiere, because then you can chat and you can talk about it, which I think is really nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably jump onto the live chat on the premiere. I keep saying premiere, and to me it sounds really like a little bit like, oh my God, who does he think he is? But that's what YouTube call it. So it's now actually set to 9:45. So I'm going to jump off here. And oh, Kirsty Jane, premiere just popped up. Bring it forward, seeing as we're all here. Penny, I love Kate. Hey, Sarah Jordan. Hey, Sarah Jordan. Hi, Lee, says Ella Marsh. If there is any one person to go on your podcast, dead or alive, who would you choose? Oh, one person. I'd love David Attenborough. I'd love David Attenborough. Yeah, I'd love to talk to him. And who else would I love to talk to? I'd love to talk to a guy called David Sedaris, who I love. He's alive. I don't know whether I should prerequisite with that. Who else would I like to? Oh, Robin Williams. Love Robin Williams. Or Victoria Wood. Yeah. Henrietta, thanks for that. Thanks for saying that. Yeah, I like to let them speak. So thanks for saying I'm a good interviewer. I appreciate that. Selena Lou Fogg's here. Kaz is here. Kim Collins, hello. Henrietta Noel Coward, yeah, another one that I would love to interview. I'd love to interview anyone. And like I said, my podcast, I've said this in the week, but if people weren't here, I have a podcast series 2 coming out, which is why I'm playing all the old episodes this week. And so series 2 is coming out, and that's focusing on performers. So West End performers, actors, singers, dancers. We're going to do kind of stories to tell, because I do think that that everyone has a story to tell. So you know, my first kind of series was generally like well-known names and celebrities, and now I'm kind of doing West End stars. So not so well-known, but still have a very interesting story to say. And Kerry says Lorraine has been a huge part of the LGBTQI plus community, and she's been an ally for many, many years. Part of the reason for her reaction to Esther McVeigh. Oh my God, we all remember that. That was brilliant. All right then, guys. So Penny, get your shoes on. We're off to Leeds to be interviewed. You can come and be interviewed at mine, Kaz. You can absolutely come and be interviewed. Raspberry Mojito Girl says Gloria Honeyford was a good one. Thank you. I loved interviewing Gloria. Gloria's lovely because she's not on Loose Women loads, but whenever she is, she's just so lovely. She's so friendly. She's like a little grandma, and you say hello and you give her a hug. And this is obviously pre-COVID times. And she's just really lovely. I really like Gloria. She even, I don't know if anyone's been to the audience, but she does a few jokes for the audience. She's got a few jokes in her roster. So she'll chat to the audience and stuff in the ad breaks and beforehand. And yeah, I have a lot of time for Gloria. And when she agreed to do the podcast, that was where I was like totally kind of, I asked Gloria and she was like, yeah. And then one day she was like, why don't we do it today? Like, come in my dressing room, we'll do it. And we did it, and she was just great. Stacey, oh, Stacey, bless you. Thank you so much, Stacey. That's very kind of you. £5. Stacey, that I will put towards, I was saying earlier, I host a domain for the podcast. So there's like a monthly fee. So I'm very appreciative of that. That's very, 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 very bloody kind of Stacey. Everyone big up Stacey. Where are you from again, Stacey? Did you tell me that last time? I'm actually just about to leave. I feel bad now because in about 5 or 10 minutes I'm going, but there's a podcast coming out if you haven't heard it already. So you can always have a listen to that, and I'm going to jump over to the live chat there and we can all have a chit chat together. But thank you, Stacey. That's very kind of you. I can't see the sticker as much. Let me have a look myself, because I do this through a different I actually do this through a different program, and it doesn't always come up, but it shows. So I just want to see what sticker it is. I'm just basically being incredibly nosy. Let's have a look at that. Let's have a look at that. Oh, there's me. Oh, it's like a little, is that a cat? It's a cat. Yeah. Oh my God, Kirsty Jane jumping in the hot tub. Nice. Nice, 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 Kirsty Jane. You're lucky to have a hot tub. All right then, guys, thank you so much for coming along. If you have any questions during the Lorraine Kelly chat, I'm going to jump on over drinking my gin, and I'm going to chat along with you all. So do ask questions. I'm such a fangirl of Lorraine. I love her. Honestly, like whenever I see her, she's just great. And obviously I haven't seen her since the whole COVID thing, but I generally used to bump into her during the week after she does her show. And yeah, I was always like, Lorraine, hi. I was one of those kind of weird fangirls that tries to just be her friend, because she was just great. I'm not ashamed of saying that. But Tina says, looking forward to the podcast. I'm very pleased you are, Tina. Thank you so much. It premieres tonight at 9:45. I need to remind you all that it is not visual. It's just a podcast. So it's just audio. So you can sit back and listen to it. And it was also recorded last year. So it has been out in the cybersphere for a year or so. But I'm just putting all these old episodes onto YouTube so that they can just be found if necessary. It's just another medium for them to be on. And yeah, it also is in line with my new series. So the new episodes that are coming out will be coming out soon, and they're never heard before episodes. So yeah. Stacey's from Warwickshire. Oh, I went to Warwick Castle once. It was so divine. Vito Corleone says, how are your teeth so white? I never think they're that white, but apparently they are. I guess it's the light. But I don't know. I'm a bit obsessed with teeth, though. Not anyone else's. That sounded very serial killer. I'm obsessed with teeth. No, I'm a bit obsessed with like flossing and yeah, I like to look after my teeth, so maybe that's why. And I go to the hygienist. I actually once got told by my dentist to stop seeing her so much. She was like, this is getting too much. It's turning into an unhealthy obsession. I'll see you in 6 months. And I was like, please, please make it 3. I can't wait 6 months. I want to clean and polish. So, yeah. All right then, guys. So head on over right now back to my channel, and it is the Lorraine Kelly interview podcast. The live chat is open. We can all jump onto that, all be friends, and all listen to the podcast. And this is the Lorraine Kelly, okay? Talking about being a gay ally. She talks about that. She talks about RuPaul's Drag Race. She talks about loads of things. She's just great. And yeah, you can probably hear in the interview how much I absolutely adore her. So do let me know. Do leave any feedback. Leave me any feedback that you want. I would love to hear what you have to say about it. And I'm sure you will all enjoy it. So for now, I'm going to go and head over. I'm going to finish the rest of my gin. Cheers. I'm going to not think about Matt Hancock and Kay Burley anymore. And I'm going to go re-listen to the glorious Scottish sensation national treasure that is Lorraine Kelly. So it's starting in about 3 or 4 minutes. But if you head over to the chat now, I will see you all there. Take care. Look after yourselves. And I'll see you soon. Bye. Oh, and I nearly forgot my little banner. Hit the like and subscribe. Hit the like and subscribe. Again, it's apparently what you have to do. All right. Bye.